Hey everyone, here's a quick heads up. The Agile Online Summit is coming soon. You can get all the details at bit.ly/Agile Online Summit 24. Yes, it's all lowercase, all one word. That's bit.ly/Agile Online Summit 24. Stick with us till the end of the episode to know the dates, the tracks, and some surprises we have ready for you. But for now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Team Tuesday. This week we have with us Jelena Vucinic. Hey, Jelena, welcome back.
Hi, Vasco.
So Tuesday, of course, is Team Day here on the podcast, and we'll talk about teams in a second. But first, do tell us, what's the book that most inspired you in your role as a Scrum Master?
Let me start with being vulnerable here and saying that I am honestly not too keen on reading professional books. I did that. I do have some in my pocket, but when it comes to learning, so when it comes to reading, I like to read novels more and to get out of the reality and the everyday life. That's something that calms me down. And when it comes to learning, especially in about Scrum Master or Agile coaching, I prefer maybe more to go to some podcasts or to go to the communities, connect with people, have a mentor. So basically do something by connecting with others. So I'm more that kind of learner. Nevertheless, there is a book that I do recommend, and I find it somehow wholesome. There are many things when it comes to Scrum Mastery and servant leadership that I find in that book, and there is a lot of inspiration from it. And it's the book from Brené Brown. It's called Dare to Lead. And it's maybe first, did you read it? Do you know it maybe? Or?
No, I think we have mentioned that here on the podcast, but I have not read it. What were maybe the most important insights that you got from that book?
Yeah. So Brené is talking about leadership. She calls it brave leadership rather than armored leadership. So on one side, we have people who might be leaders officially and have a hierarchical power. Nevertheless, they are not showing vulnerability, the empathy, self-compassion, and therefore, she's more suggesting that we should shift towards daring leadership, which is more courageous, which is more welcoming the mistakes and creating the growth mindset or empowering the people to show up and be vulnerable as they are, and by showing empathy and support, nevertheless also purpose and value that connects the teams, for example. That is something that brings maybe a bit too optimistic, but it brings this world to a bit better place and makes it a bit more honest and nicer maybe. So one thing that I took, for example, is that even when it's hard, leading means showing up, but with empathy and with being vulnerable, showing your own self. So, but what she talks about a lot is that there are those moments where you have your stomach ache and you know it's a tough decision, tough times, and then you can decide how you act on that situation, and actually showing up, sharing that with others around you, sharing that you do have that stomach ache and maybe you're uncomfortable, nevertheless that you're there, that you are connecting with others. That's something that drives pushes people forward and creates the connections that are long lasting. So
absolutely. And that's a key aspect for leaders, to create those connections, to create that sense of belonging and wanting to succeed together. Great point. So Brené Brown, Dare to Lead. The link will be in the show notes for people to easily find it. And of course, now we turn our attention to teams. Teams are also involved in that process of leadership, of course, with shared leadership as well as with other kinds of leadership happening within a team and around the team. So we want to explore one of those stories, Jelena. Share a story of a team that you work with. Tell us a little bit about the context so that we may know. There is a small team, big project, small project, whatever that is, that context. And then walk us through how those small little behaviors developed over time and eventually became a problem for the team.
If you remember the story from yesterday about the big workshop, there were 6 teams at the time working on that. It was kind of a bigger project, and the team itself, one team itself, was around not too big, 6 people, and basically. There were a couple of individuals as a part of that team who were very, very smart, like extremely smart, extremely fast, also very much aiming for the best results and maybe perfectionist, but not in a detailed way, but more like we want to be the best, competitive in a sense. And over time, the influence of those 2 individuals in that team kind of created the atmosphere that they started working on the most important component on the project, and therefore slowly by creating that, by being the owners of that component and not letting others contribute to it too much. They started silencing themselves. And that created, of course, a big bottleneck on the project, high pressure for them. They were always the go-to persons, go-to team when it comes to that topic. And it came. What I want to also share is that I think that initially the problem or the attitude came not from some selfishness. I think it came from their wish to make best out of the situation. So they did feel the need for saving time, so to go faster and to deliver more in a shorter period of time, and to kind of gain trust by doing that, show themselves and so on. And so because they wanted to save time, it was of course faster if experts work on it very deeply, and definitely would create results faster when more people are involved. But at the end, they were kind of seen as elite teams. They were the only ones who were allowed to approve certain pull requests. They were also very impatient with conversations with people around them, which caused frequent conflicts, blaming culture, so kind of barricading themselves from the rest of the project. So overall, I think also they started feeling unhappy over time. So maybe initial excitement of we are getting stuff done super fast, we are cool, we are working on this essential component, created more negative than maybe initially wanted.
For me, what is really key in this story is this concept that it all started with the best of intentions and wanting to perform and wanting to help. And this highlights how important it is for us as Scrum Masters, as Agile coaches, as leaders in general, to pay attention to the patterns that are emerging despite and sometimes because of the best intentions. The intentions of our actions are not enough to create a great working atmosphere, right? Because, as you just said, this team had good intentions, but they eventually became the bottleneck, and then everybody was waiting for them and angry at them, and they were frustrated and always in a hurry and not able to listen. And all of that grows out of this well-intentioned but anti-pattern, right? And I think that the ability to stop and analyze what is going on and then say, hey, no, let's step back. We need to get out of this pattern, because if we continue, it will lead to, right? And that conversation is difficult. But Jelena, when you think about this case, what do you wish you would have done at that time?
Again, coming back to dare to lead, I think also I agree with what you said, but I also think it's important to acknowledge that sometimes we do have individuals who are not willing to work or willing. They're not enjoying working in a team setup, and maybe there is some other way to include them and to have them rather than putting them into team. And so one thing that comes to my mind is, or creating a team that is working on something that is a bit more independent, if possible. I still think that's very hard, but if there are some parts of the project that are maybe less dependent on other parts, maybe that could be the working mode. But one thing is, first of all, looking who is part of our team, and then acknowledging what are these people willing to, let's say, chip in. Are they willing to share the knowledge? Are they willing to work on the patients? Are they willing to be coached, to kind of open up, to not be always the one who are the wisest in the room, and that's the priority for them. And if there is agreement, so I do believe that people can shift, and if given right motivation, they could open up and be working in an environment that is also more collaborative. Nevertheless, I think it's important that we have that conversation and acknowledge that. And if we see and agree that there are individuals who are not willing to open up, then we find maybe some other solution for that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no single solution that works for everybody, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Jelena, thank you for sharing that with us.
Welcome.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around. So, as I was saying at the beginning of the show, on October 22nd this year, we will have the first day of the Agile Online Summit 2024. The summit will take place from October 22nd to 24th, so make sure you book your calendars, as there will be loads of sessions for you to attend, including live QAs with the speakers, networking sessions, and more. This year, we're also organizing regular networking events online so that you get to talk and meet your peers before the summit even starts. So if you want to know more, check them out at bit.ly/Agile Online Summit 24. That's all one word, all lowercase. That's bit.ly/Agile Online Summit 24. You can sign up for a free ticket and get notified when those warm-up events will be organized, so stay tuned. Now, regarding the summit, our opening keynote will be Marshall Goldsmith's exposition of a project he's been working on for a while. That's marshallgoldsmith.ai. And Marshall is an author and also a leadership coach who sold over 3 million books worldwide and has been considered twice #1 leadership thinker in the world by Thinker 50. And you definitely don't want to miss that. If you want to know more about the tracks, here they are. We will have 4 tracks. The first track is Shift from Product to People. In this track, we will explore what we call the third wave of Agile adoption, exploring psychological safety, coaching techniques, and more to unlock your team's potential. In this track, you can learn to foster trust, encourage innovation, and build high-performing teams. Transform your approach and the future of Agile to be much more people-centric. The second track we have for you is value-centric product development. In this track, we will learn how to master product management and ownership by focusing on value. We will learn to identify, validate, and deliver what customers truly need, and dive into customer-centric approaches, experimentation techniques, and continuous market validation ideas. We have to accept that if Agile is to succeed, we have to become value-centric, and that's what we explore in this track. The next track is titled Agile Coaching Masterclass. We want to help take your coaching to the next level and transform team performance. Develop key Agile coaching skills, emphasizing people-centric and value-centric approaches in line with the previous tracks. And we will help you learn how to guide teams towards value focus and effectiveness. In this track, we want to help you unlock the potential of the individuals and the organizations you will be working with. After all, the future of Agile is coaching-centric. And finally, the last track, and definitely not the least, is all about the future of Agile. Explore the trends shaping Agile's evolution, the previous 3 tracks do that as well. Discover real-world success stories from innovative companies pushing the boundaries of what's possible today, and learn how practitioners are evolving Agile practices, gain insights in how to revolutionize your own approach. After all, the future of Agile is here, so let's explore it. You will also have the opportunity to network with your peers, so get your ticket and join our Slack at bit.ly/Agile Online Summit. That's all lowercase, all one word, bit.ly/Agile Online Summit 24. As always, we have free tickets and the VIP tickets, so check them out. It will all be available at bit.ly/Agile Online Summit 24. I'll see you on the conference floor.